Anyway, good morning to you. We're live again at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City. Let's take a look at college football from last night, the ball games. Wake Forest attaching a positive ending to a season marred by scandal, using a strong performance by quarterback John Wolford to beat heavily favored Temple. Final score 34-26 in the Military Bowl in Annapolis, Maryland. Wake Forest 7-6 withstood a comeback bid by Temple to secure its first bowl victory since 2008. Demon Deacons snapping a 3-game losing streak and won for only the second time since October the 8th. It's been a long, tough season for Wake Forest. Wolford, a junior, 10 out of 19 passing for 183 yards and a couple of scores. Seeking the first 11-win season in school history, Temple came in as a 11-point favorite, was not to be. Wake Forest, of course, one of the big guys on that front line is our dear friend Brian Hayworth's big mammoth son, who plays offensive line for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, senior, one of the co-captains. And so a happy time in the Hayworth household as Wake Forest wins 34-26 in the Military Bowl. Also from yesterday, Shannon Brooks catching a tip pass, going ahead, the go-ahead touchdown in the third quarter. Minnesota, beset by turmoil, held on for the upset in the Holiday Bowl over Washington State 17-12. The Golden Gophers 9-4, looking to regroup after backing down from a threat to skip the game if 10 teammates suspended after a sexual assault investigation were not reinstated. The boycott lasted less than 36 hours. They showed back up to play, and Minnesota goes on to win the ball game. Washington State finishing at 8-5, lost its third straight game. Luke Falk in a losing cause for Washington State. 30 out of 51 passing for 264 yards. Also from yesterday, it was a barn burner in overtime. Jordan Asbury ran for a 3-yard TD on a fourth down in overtime to lift Army. The Black Knights 8-5. Again, that was the sixth rushing touchdown of the game, number 46 in the season. That broke a school record held by the 1945 National Championship team that had 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the backfield. They rushed for 480 yards. Army wins in overtime over North Texas in Dallas, 38-31 in overtime. So that's the 3 bowls from yesterday. Now, you take a look at the bowls coming up today. We're going to preview those coming up here in just a little while. You have coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon the Pitt Panthers and Northwestern in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. In Orlando, Florida, the Russell Athletic Bowl coming up at 5:30. The Miami Hurricanes 8-4, the West Virginia Mountaineers at 10-2. At 8:30 tonight, the Foster Farms Bowl in Santa Clara, California. Indiana 6-6, Utah 8-4 at 8:30, and then the Texas Bowl tonight in Houston. Kansas State, a couple of old rivalries reconnecting. Kansas State and Texas A&M both 8-4 playing tonight at 9 o'clock. And then coming up at 10:30 tonight, the Poo-Poo, Weed Eater, Chocolate Chip, you name it, bowl. Good grief. This is unbelievable. And boy, there's way too many bowls, my friend. Way too many bowls. Yep. Be interesting to see the Belk Bowl coming up tomorrow. Again, Virginia Tech and Arkansas in Charlotte. What kind of fan base? The Hokies always travel well. We'll see if Arkansas makes a trek, the Arkansas fan base out of Arkansas to come up to Charlotte for the game, which is not that far. It's pretty good pull, but it's doable. And then, of course, from Arkansas to Arkansas to Charlotte. Oh, then that's a whole different animal. 10 hours, pretty long haul. And then, of course, Friday, the Music City Bowl. It is, without question, I would think, be a pro-Tennessee crowd. Nebraska has sold their allotment of tickets, granted, and Nebraska travels well, the Big Red Army. But I would think, since it's in Nashville and 4 or 5 hours from Knoxville, I would think it's very much going to be a Tennessee crowd. So we'll see. But today, Northwestern, Pittsburgh at Yankee Stadium. I would think the Pitt Panthers have a bigger fan base there. In Orlando, no question, Miami, the Hurricanes should have a bigger fan base as far as attendance in West Virginia. In Santa Clara, California tonight, Utah would have a bigger fan base than the Indiana Hoosiers, I would think. And then also in the Texas Bowl in Houston, Texas A&M and Kansas State, no question, should be a home field advantage for Aggies. So anyway, that's what's going on. We will preview each one of those games coming up here in just a few minutes. And we're live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. And we appreciate you giving us a watch and giving us a listen. You can see us, or rather hear us, on AM 790, streaming audio on WETV790.com. We're also on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, again on WETV. And of course on Facebook Live as well. We're here, visual, video, and audio on Facebook Live here in the lobby of Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. We've got coming up, we've got high school basketball all over the place. We've got tournaments, of course, the Arby's Classic, the Chick-fil-A Classic in Elizabethton. We'll tell you all about that. Also, college basketball, big night kickoff conference play. A lot of top 25 teams in the mix tonight. Also, a big night of the National Basketball Association. So we'll have our basketball segment coming up here in just a few minutes here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We got Kevin Harmon going to join us. We'll take a quick break, come right back. We'll get him settled in, ready to go, talking Tennessee football. Also later on in the show, we're going to hear from Tennessee coach Butch Jones talking about the Music City Bowl coming up on Friday. We'll also hear from Nick Saban, the head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and hear what he's got to say about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl coming up on Saturday in Atlanta. And so we will hear all about that from those coaches. Coming up next, Kevin Harmon joins us, and he'll talk Tennessee football next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show on AM 790 WETV, also on Facebook Live. All right. All right, big guy, come on in here.
Hi. I wrote him a note. I'm going to sit down next week.
Facebook Live, folks, again, as we tell you to visit the new website at TomTaylorSports.com, sign up for the email newsletter, like us and share us, again, on live stream videos and posting on Facebook. Again, we had, last Thursday, over 6,000 views. Friday, we had over 3,300 views, so the show obviously is growing by leaps and bounds, thanks to Jeremiah Clark and Michael Smith from Appalachian Digital. They're awesome folks. If you get a chance, check them out and go to their website and get in contact with them. We've got several folks that are talking to them about them helping their companies now as we move forward into 2017. So good stuff, and so appreciate them again. Appalachian Digital, still don't say it right. Digital. I'll start talking like Forrest Gump. Digital, and so be sure and check them out at AppalachianDigital.com. Just sounds a little clunky. All right, you ready?
Yep. You're a digital animal.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live again, Facebook Live, and also on AM 790, and also WETV790.com, streaming audio all over the world. We thank you for being with us. We're live here at Chick-fil-A, the Crossings, North Johnson City tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet. And then on Friday, we'll be at Food City in Gray, kicking off a Midnight Madness sale. We're joined by our buddy, Kevin Harmon of the Tennessee UT Sports Update. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Doing well, Tom. How are you?
Just fine, sir. Just fine. Let's get him on camera. There he is. Look over there smiling real good. A little bit of a glare behind him in the window. Can't do anything about that. There we go. Got every curtain closed we could here without making the place totally dark. So let's jump in there and talk Tennessee football. They're getting ready for Music City Bowl. We're going to hear from Butch Jones when we get done visiting with you. But what's your take? What are you hearing about Tennessee preparing for a team that's not going to be a pushover? The Cornhuskers are a pretty stout football team.
Cornhuskers are a stout football team. But they have a lot of injuries, and they have 2 suspensions. The quarterback is out, and their backup quarterback has a broken wrist and is non-throwing hand. But Tennessee doesn't have a great history with backup quarterbacks. Tennessee's going to have to show up and going to have to play to win, or they won't win. And this is a big game for Butch Jones. He doesn't need to go to 8-5. He needs to repeat 9-4 just like last year. He need a big bowl win. They're in Nashville. The band's getting ready to leave. I just texted my son, and so it's going to be a 3:30 kickoff, and I hope a great game for us.
In Nashville, it's going to be like it is up here. It could be cold down in Nashville. In fact, it's supposed to be a little cool in Nashville on Friday for the football game. We've got some cold weather, possibly some snow flurries up here in the mountains. Of course, Nashville's way over there, as you well know, but still maybe a little cooler than normal. But yes, I would agree with you. I think this is a very, very big football game for Butch Jones. I think they better come out with a little swagger. I think they better come out with the pedal to the metal, and I think they need to make a very, very good showing and win the football game.
Well, they need to play well on defense. I think our offense will show up and we'll play well. We have a lot of weapons, and I think we'll outscore Nebraska at anything. But Nebraska's walking wounded and they're hurt, and our defense really needs to show up, especially to go into next year. We need to have a good defensive ball game. Our corners need to cover, our linemen need to rush. I'd like to see Derek Barnett get the sack record. So it's a big game for Tennessee. It's not just another game, another bowl game, or we can take it easy because they have a bunch of injuries. We need to win this game, and it would be great if we won decisively.
We're talking to Kevin Harmon, UT Sports Report. UT Sports Update really joins us every week, and we certainly appreciate that. So from a recruiting standpoint, you're playing a football game in your home state. I don't know how many guys are out there that are still possibility of being Tennessee football players, but Butch Jones plays in his state. Recruiting-wise, I would think this is a big game also to kind of help solidify maybe some guys wanting to come play in Tennessee. Not just in Tennessee, but all over the country.
Sure. I mean, not just for this year, but for years to come. Middle Tennessee has become a recruiting hotbed. We just got Trey Smith out of Jackson, which I guess could be considered more West Tennessee. But, you look at Juwan Jennings, Josh Malone, and some of the players that have come out of Middle Tennessee, and they're still producing good football players down there with Riverdale and Blackman and some of those schools. It's a big, plus Tennessee didn't have the best end to their season. So we need to show, hey, the ship's been righted, and things are going in the right direction. We're trending up. We had the bad article written about us. It's a huge game. I mean, it's a huge game. There's a lot of perception in this game. How Tennessee comes out based on the adversity that they showed or faced in the last half of the season, plus some of the things that were written about it.
On the other side of the ledger, Nebraska came out of the gate house on fire, kind of cooled off mid-season, finished strong, I think, if you be a fair statement given the fact they had all those injuries. But at one point they were, top 10 in the country? And
they were 5 and 6 and 0, I believe.
There you go. And you had a lot of hope pinned on that team this year for Mike Riley. Didn't really become a Nebraska season like they're accustomed to, but probably better than when Bo Pelini was there. But still, Nebraska is Nebraska. The old Nebraska teams way back in the day were those 3 yards in a cloud of dust, grind them up kind of football team. And then you had Eric Couch, is that right? Came along.
Eric Couch, Scott Frost,
and kind of opened up a passing game in Nebraska. So what is their offensive mindset for the Cornhuskers?
Well, they run the football. They are a running football team. Mike Riley's always been a running football coach. So they're going to try to run the football. They're going to try to establish a run. Now, it doesn't take a rocket science to look at Tennessee's last 3 games and think, we can run the football. If you win the line of scrimmage, you control the game. If you win the rushing, if you dominate in the rushing, you control the clock, you control the line of scrimmage, and you basically can dictate what you want to do. So I believe Nebraska's going to come out and try to run the football. I mean, look at Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Missouri, all those guys did against us. So why wouldn't they?
Yeah, pretty much. And it was against teams, run those 3 teams down, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Missouri.
It was.
Or 1,000 yards of offense rushing the ball against Tennessee in the last 3 games. So some holes to fill. Injury-wise, we're talking to Kevin Harmon. We're live at Chick-Fil-A. We're talking Tennessee football, getting ready for Music City Bowl on Friday, 3:30 kickoff from Nashville on the ESPN. How healthy are the Volunteers going into Nashville?
Well, they're healthier. I think Kirkland's going to play, but you still got the guys that are out, Tuttle and McKenzie and Jalen Reeves-Maben. Cam Sutton will play. Derek Barnett will play. He's not hurt. But they're all banged up this time of year. So you let your body heal for, our last game was the very end of November, so this is the end of December. So you've had 4 weeks to sort of heal up. But from what I've been reading, Tennessee has been having very physical practices, which I like. So they come out and they put the pads on and they hit each other. So that tells me that they're going to be ready for this football game. But The injuries are something that we've had to deal with, but our offense is pretty intact. I believe our line, we're going to be down Boulware because he's lost the grades. But our offense should be fairly intact. Our defense, I'm not so sure about. So we've got to come to play. Our offense has got to score some points.
Boulware, losing him to grades, academic casualty, is that a big deal?
Well, he's not a starter, but he does sort of bolster the line. So, yeah, it is a big deal.
We're talking to Kevin Harmon again. I know that was a silly question, but sometimes guys get, their pub is bigger than what they are, so I want to make sure this guy's legitimate. So he is he is somebody we needed, and he's not going to be there, at least in uniform, maybe they're watching the game. But again, you look at this football team, Tennessee fan base, I would have to think in Nashville it's a Tennessee, not a home crowd, but I know Nebraska sold all their lot of the tickets, but I would think, for all intents and purposes, it'll be a Tennessee crowd over there on Friday in Nashville. What do you think?
It should be. It is big orange country.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of Tennessee grads, Tennessee fans in Middle Tennessee. Tennessee stretches the state. Not so much in Memphis as much as Nashville. Nashville's a big hotbed of Tennessee. It's a big area for recruiting. It's like Knoxville. So we need to show up to play because we are playing in front of the home crowd. We definitely don't need to lay an egg. And we need to come out and we need to beat them. We need to win decisively, in my opinion.
All right, so let's play the devil's advocate. Let's say they come out and they lay an egg. Let's say Nebraska not only beats them, number one, they beat them. Number two, we'll do a two-part question here. Number one, Nebraska wins. Number two, Nebraska, as they've done before in previous bowl games, put a pretty good beat down on Tennessee. So what happens psychologically going forward if that happens with Tennessee not getting it done on Friday?
Well, not getting it done, I think, hurts you in recruiting. The signing day is 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away, and we need some positive momentum going into the final recruiting. We've not gotten in on a couple of players we wanted to get in on, and we still have some out there, and we still have some running backs that we need. And we need to show some positive momentum. So I think they would survive a loss, but I think where it would hurt would be in recruiting, which will cost you down the road. And may cause some decommits, because Tennessee doesn't have that.
Excuse me.
They're struggling with some of the leadership and positions, mainly because they just don't have anybody right now. And the biggest thing is they need to get an athletic director in there. So it's a huge game. We can't lose.
What is the update? Again, we're talking to Kevin Harmon. What is the update on the athletic director search? I know the guy, young man from Chattanooga, not the guy, the young man, David Blackburn.
David Blackburn. There's all kinds of rumors out there.
Yeah.
And obviously most Tennessee people want him because he's a Tennessee guy. And Tennessee fans, I believe, are kind of tired of other guys coming in from other schools. They want a Tennessee guy, and David Blackburn is that. But you have a new chancellor who probably wants to put her stamp on it. You have some boosters and this and that who want to put their stamp on it. So I think the sooner the better. The time frame seems to be mid-January, but it gets much later than that. And go into recruiting, the final part of recruiting with Coach Jones. He needs to have some stability, and I think that's some of the issue with Tennessee. There is no real leadership at the top.
Well, all right, so how does it benefit Butch Jones? Again, we're talking to Kevin Harmon. How does it benefit Butch Jones to have an athletic director in place as far as recruiting goes?
Well, it goes to your coaches. He is trying to replace some coaches, and there are all kinds of rumors out there. But if you don't have an athletic director who can actually offer contracts and sign contracts and negotiate, Butch Jones can't do that. That's not his job. And his job is to go out and find the best coach, and they find the fit, and they make the fit. But it's the athletic director that comes in and is the final sort of, okay, we're going to hire this guy. So he needs him in place so that we can move forward as a staff. And go ahead and start putting in plans in place for spring practice. You don't stop just because the bowl game's over. You get in recruiting, you may have a break or two, but then you got spring practice, 6 weeks, 8 weeks away, and you got to start putting in game plans. You got to have some continuity on your staff, and you got to go ahead and start building that. If we're in flux, and if 2 or 3 guys leave, we can't replace them because we don't have an athletic director, it's only going to set us back.
Do you see coaching changes at Tennessee this year, the football team?
There's lots of rumors out there.
Yeah.
There's lots of rumors out there. I'm not privy to all that, but obviously some changes need to be made. You've got a strength and conditioning coach. This rumored to be coming in from the Rams. You've got Brady Hoke has been rumored. The former head coach from Oregon has been rumored as an offensive coordinator. So you've got all kinds of stuff out there. But it takes an athletic director to tie all that together.
And to sign off on it, too, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee needs to do the guy a favor and bring in an athletic director and somebody at the top that's going to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want an outgoing guy.
Right.
To do that.
No.
The guy's going to be there.
And most of the time, guys that are leaving the program won't do it. I mean, they're going out the door and they're not going to do it.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, they will, I guess. But why? Why do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's not in their best interest.
No, they're moving on. We're talking to Kevin Harmon, talking sports. We're here live at Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. Coming up, we will hear from Butch Jones, the head football coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. Also, we'll hear from Nick Saban in Atlanta, getting his football team ready for Washington on Saturday and the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl. We'll hear from Saban, get his comments about getting ready for, he feels like, a very good Washington team. We'll see. I don't think anybody's going to hold up to Alabama, but that's just me. All right, so here we go. Picking panel. We got to get this in. We want to talk a little men's basketball. We'll also squeeze in the lady ball, so we'll let you go on down the trail. Picking panel. Let's see. Music City Bowl, Tennessee, and Nebraska.
Sure. Tennessee, go ball.
Taking
go
you
ball.
too. All right, go ball.
Go big on.
The Belk Bowl tomorrow. Virginia Tech and Arkansas in Charlotte. Who do you like there?
Virginia Tech and who?
Arkansas.
Arkansas doesn't have a lot of style. To be in the Belk Bowl, you got to have some style.
Hokies?
So I'll go with the Hokies.
Taking the Hokies, all right. New Year's Eve, you've got the Chick-fil-A Bowl, Alabama, Washington. Bama?
Blowout.
Yeah, it's going to be that.
I mean, everybody's saying that. Washington will probably come up and upset them, which is the biggest upsets ever. I just don't see how Washington's going to deal with it.
No. Clemson, Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl, New Year's Eve.
I got to go to Ohio State.
Taking Ohio State, all right.
Defense is too good.
All right.
Clemson struggled really me all year. They just don't play a really tough schedule.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson's not had the kind of year that they thought he was going to have too.
No, but teams, he doesn't.
They've been keen on
he
him.
Doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. He can't surprise anybody.
No. Nothing works out.
Clemson doesn't play a hard schedule, and they struggle. North Carolina State should have beat them. Pittsburgh did beat them. Florida State could have beat them. Auburn could have beat them. So, they're good. There's no question. They're good. But I don't think that they will stay on the field with Ohio State.
Orange Bowl Friday, Florida State and Michigan. Who do you like there?
It's going to be a good game. I'm going to go with Michigan.
Going with Michigan,
Yeah.
Wolverines, all right?
Yeah.
Rose Bowl, Penn State, Southern Cal on Monday. Who do you like there?
Penn State. I like Penn State.
I do too. I like the Nittany Lions. They've done an incredible job turning that program around.
That
James
block kick against Ohio State turned their season.
You got it. Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma and Auburn. Who do you like there, the Sooners or the Tigers?
I don't think Auburn has a chance against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got some distractions around the Joe Mixon thing. They're a solid football team, and they're going to take care of all these. If Oklahoma plays Washington's schedule and they play Portland State and Sisters of the Poor instead of Houston and Ohio State, Oklahoma's in the playoffs. So they're a playoff team.
So you're taking Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Look at the year Gus Malzahn's had down in Auburn. At one point, he was rumored to be gone, and I was one of those. Felt like he may not even make it to the halfway point like Les Miles did, but he's had a heck of a run, so he's secure at Auburn for a while.
He is. He's not a bad coach. And, he had the big win over LSU at home and cost Les Miles his job, and he's got beat by Georgia, but so we'll see.
Last one, the Outback Bowl, the Florida Gators and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Who you like there?
Florida.
Taking the Gators. All right, make sure I got you right. Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oklahoma, and Florida.
I'm kind of wavering on Florida, but I think they'll win.
All right. I don't think they will. I think Iowa's going to beat them.
They may.
That's all right.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Well, I think it's a team. I think we talked about that before here in the show. That trying to find an offensive identity after all these games, still trying to find out who's going to run the show. And
they do have an elite defense.
Yes, their defense.
If defense shows up to play and they don't like mantled in like they did last year, they should beat Iowa.
Yeah.
If they mantled in like they did last year, Iowa will.
There you go. All right, men's basketball and the lady balls before I let you go. Now you got to get rolling. We're talking to Kevin Harmon, talking Tennessee sports here live at Chick-fil-A. The Crossings in North Johnson City. Tomorrow will be at Champion Chevrolet. Friday will be at Food City and Gray with the Midnight Madness sale. So, men's basketball team came up here in Johnson City last week, got a big win.
Yeah, it was at that game. Yeah.
Heck of an atmosphere, wasn't it?
It was. It was a great atmosphere. And we sat in a very upper section, the very top row. and on the baseline across from the ETSU bench, and great seat. That's just like the lower section of Thompson Bowling. It was a great seat. You know, I've never heard Tennessee booed. And that was a great article in the paper. Tennessee, you know, when they introduced them, they got booed heavily. And it was just kind of surprising to me to hear Tennessee get booed like they did in Johnson City. And there's a lot of Tennessee people up here. And I was also amazed at the way they kept the orange out of Freedom Hall. There wasn't a lot of orange there. So, you know, they sold the tickets early. They kind of had a plan, I guess, to keep Tennessee fans from buying those tickets. So we bought ours early.
Rick Barnes said, we're not playing. We're going to play anybody in state. It's going to be playing in Knoxville. He didn't like coming up here. It was set in stone before he got here as the head coach. So he said, probably not coming back to Johnson anytime soon.
Right, not as he's got. I mean, I don't blame him. No. You don't have anything to gain. I mean, they don't gain anything. You know, ETSU was 50 points ahead of them, or 50 places ahead in the RPI, and you beat a better team in the RPI on the road. It helps you. So that win did help Tennessee. But overall, perception-wise, they should have won. And you don't really gain anything by coming here. And he's right. If he's going to go on the road, he wants to play North Carolina, Gonzaga.
For recruiting.
Go to New York City, play some of the Big East schools.
That's what he said.
So
Atlanta, once again, Atlanta, it's a big recruiting area.
Sure, Georgia Tech. Play somebody on a national level and get it on television. And he's a good coach. I mean, Tennessee plays hard. That was a good basketball game. But Tennessee never really relinquished control, but ETSU was always right there on the edge, but they just couldn't seal the deal. ETSU was very athletic, very long, very good off the dribble. They just didn't make the shots.
They start the SEC conference this week. They'll take on Texas A&M. It'll be their first game getting rolling for the Tennessee Volunteers. So conference play begins tonight for a lot of teams. We'll run down the top 25. So all the non-conferences, for all intents and purposes, out of the way. And it's conference play starting now all the way to the tournament. So this is where it gets really, really interesting. Your take on Tennessee men's basketball. Where do you think they're going to finish out?
I think they'll finish middle of the league. I don't think they're going to start. I think they may hit a wall. They have a lot of freshmen. They have 8 new people on the team, 8 new players, to mesh all that. I think Fulkerson being out hurt them. But I think they're going to get the bones back. And, they have a good team. Grant Williams is only getting better. Evans is playing better. Derek Monstella, he just put a dagger at ETSU.
Yeah.
That fadeaway jumper when it was 2 points, and he get goes across the lane, hits the fadeaway jump shot, and make it a 4-point game. And what a shot! So they have the makings. Can they beat Kentucky and Lexington? I don't think so. Can they beat them in Knoxville? Well, I don't come to Knoxville, I don't think. But, I think they could be a middle of the pack team. And they play hard, and they play smart, and Barnes is a good coach.
We're talking to Kevin Harmon, last one, the Lady Vols. What's the take on Holly Warlick and the Lady Vols right now heading into the conference schedule?
They're worse than they were last year. Last year they were bad, so you've gone from bad to worse. She beat Stanford, though. Can you figure it out? It just makes no sense. And, if we can hit a layup or, I'm not going to sit here and knock them all the time. She has the #1 recruiting class coming in. She's got to coach them up. She has 6 McDonald's All-Americans on her team right now. So, there really is no excuse. We need to be playing better. And it's a Lady Vol brand. And that's another reason we need to play great. Lady Vols need to be a contender. That's a big brand for Tennessee. And we don't need kids out there. It just doesn't need to go away. We need to bolster the brand back up. I don't think an athletic director will do that.
There you go. You want to plug in your listings right now before you take off?
I don't really have him right off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Talbot Street?
Back at Talbot Street in Kingsport. And I can't really think of any right now. He caught me off guard. I'm sorry about that.
I had them over here somewhere, the listings. But
yeah. Just give me a call at 423-943-1567.
Yeah. I meant to tell you to always come prepared to selfishly plug one's business or livelihood. And look right here. I'm taking care of the
It's not just me, it's the Bird Home Team.
I know, but these are your listings.
You list with me, you also list with the Bird Home Team.
There's Catawba Street.
Catawba Street at 150.
Pitch it, big guy.
1101 Catawba Street. Like I said, if you list with me, you list with the Bird Home Team, and you have everybody in behind you. So it's not, there's a big fallacy out there. If you get a real estate agent, that's who your agent is. You really basically hire the company to and you have a point person who can show you around and give you some ideas and thoughts, but you basically hire the entire team, and that's what you need to look for.
Yep. And the Bird Home Team number is 247-SOLD. How about that? I like that.
247-SOLD.
There you go. Catawba Street in Kingsport, location. Lincoln Elementary, Sevier Middle, Dobbins Middle High School. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and you can go online and check it out. Again, at thebirdhometeam.com, and again, 1101 Catawba Street. Give Kevin a call, or if you're getting ready to list property, you want to list it, or looking for an agent that's going to go to work for you, because he's a newbie and he is hustling it, and that's the name of the game. So his number again, 943-1567. Appreciate you coming by.
Call or text.
Appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, look forward to next week.
Next week, we'll talk more right here.
We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we did. Good man right there. Kevin Harmon again. As promised, we go from Kevin Harmon. Here is Tennessee head football coach Butch Jones on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, getting his take on the game coming up on Friday, the Music City Bowl against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Here's Coach Jones on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. What you doing?
We got ice and drive-through.
Huh?
Can I do a picture?
Oh, let me see. I didn't see it. Oh. Why don't you make Miss Judy a picture? She'd love that. You want something to eat? Go ask Miss Judy. Just get in line. Hey, Ben Foy. What is our time? So I can set this timer. So 16. Get it right now. Again, thanks Kevin Harmon on Facebook. Great segment. The guy knows Tennessee sports, and we appreciate him very much. And you can check him out on his website, or not on his website, his phone number, 943-1567. Remax real estate agent here in the Tri-Cities, and so give him a call, let him go to work for you. He's recently just got his real estate license. He is hungry, to say the least, and so he's going to be hustling for you. And when you're coming out of the gate as a new guy in a new job, you're going to work extra hard, and he will and does. And so we appreciate him very much coming by and talking. So in his number is 943-1567, the Bird Home Team. In at the listing on Catawba Street. He's also got a listing on Knights Bridge in Kingsport. That's going to be the Chase Meadows subdivision, Adams Elementary, Robinson Middle, and Dobbins Middle High School. So, but he's got listings all over the area too, with access to the Bird Home Team. So their number again is 247-2277 or 247-8121 are the numbers to find out again from the Bird Home Team. Find out more about those two listings and more. And we appreciate them very much. Again, thank you for visiting our new website, TomTaylorSports.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter. Again, be sure to like us and share us, and you have been, and we can't thank you enough for that. Like us and share us. Again, at TomTaylorSports.com, one-stop shop. Thanks to Jeremiah Clark and also Michael Smith from AppalachianDigital.com. Appreciate them very much helping us out. Did you get something to eat? Okay. And so you have a great day. Sit right there and talk to that pretty little lady.
I know.
There you go. He's my buddy. He's my buddy. So anyway, we're listening to Butch Jones right now on 790. We'll come right back and we'll preview the college football bowl games for today. Coming up here in just a second. Do we need to? Okay. Just throw it back to me, and then I'll chit chat and throw a break to you. Interesting observation of Butch Jones. Again, if you heard it on AM 790, again, for the Facebook folks, we're working. We will have that set and ready to go for you very, very soon. So for you to be able to hear the audio from the radio as well. Right now, that does not work, or is not working. No, it's not working. That we've not climbed that mountain yet, but we're in the process of getting that climbed, and so we appreciate you very much. You can always listen to this on WETV790.com, streaming audio around the world. Tom Taylor Sports Show, 11 before the hour. We're live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Let's break it down and let's preview the bowl games coming up today. Let's start in New York. Let's get the glasses back and see. Coming up at noon, kickoff, and so Ben will be able to give us some update scores here in the next hour between noon and when we go off there at 1 o'clock for Charles Stanley. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl coming up at Yankee Stadium. It'll be the James Conner story. What a great story. This young man, a junior, has overcome cancer and a torn MCL to become one of Pittsburgh's most prolific and dynamic backs in school history. The bowl game against Northwestern, 6-6, will be at noon today. And so in September of 2015, last year, Conner suffered a debilitating knee injury. 2 months later, on Thanksgiving Day a year ago, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. With his cancer in remission, Conner made a successful comeback this year, rushing for over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns for the Panthers, who are 8-4. But for as much acclaim as he has garnered for his play on the field, Conner's received even more for the story of his comeback. What a comeback. Cancer survivor, and has gone from being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma to back out on the field and not only playing very, very well for Pittsburgh. Conner paces the Pittsburgh offense and averages 42 points a game. Pitt, by the way, the only team to knock off 2 Power 5 conference championship teams this year, to beat Clemson 43-42, and to beat Penn State 42-39. The Panthers closed out the regular season with a basketball score game. They beat Syracuse 76-61. That's a football score. 137 combined points, the most ever in a regulation of an FBS game. So they're going to be taking on the Pitt Panthers, taking on Northwestern. Northwestern notching a win over Illinois in the season finale to become bowl eligible. The Wildcats have a 1,000-yard rusher, and Justin Jackson, a 1,000-yard receiver in Austin Carr, who leads the Big Ten with 84 catches, and a 3,000-yard passer in sophomore quarterback Clayton Thorson. 2 schools haven't met since 1973 when Pitt running back Tony Dorsett, remember that name, was a freshman, and rushed for what was then a school record 265 yards and a 21-14 Pitt win. The series is tied at 3-3. We'll kick it off coming up in about 8 or 9 minutes from Yankee Stadium in New York. And again, Ben will keep us up to date in that first hour of the ball game for us, and we thank him for that. And that'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. Game number 2 on the slate today will come up out of Orlando, the Russell Athletic Bowl at 5:30. West Virginia 10-2, the Miami Hurricanes at 8-4, have not met since 2003. But at that point, it's 13 years since they played each other, and so they used to play each other every year. Both have moved on to different conferences. Miami going to the ACC, of course. West Virginia joining the Big 12, 3 or 4 years ago. Promises to be a classic matchup this afternoon of the irresistible force against the immovable object. Mountaineers feature an offense that averages nearly 500 yards a game, 12th best in the country. Against a Miami defense that's been really stout. They've improved drastically since Mark Richt got to town, so something's got to give. The offense for West Virginia, the defense for Miami. Mountaineers put up an offense that averages more than 267 yards a game passing. Quarterback Skylar Howard throwing for 26 touchdowns, 4 different players for West Virginia have at least 32 catches, and the Mountaineers average nearly 240 yards a game, rather. Mountaineers average nearly 240 a game rushing, with running back Justin Crawford leading the way with 1,168 yards for the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Miami's offense has been its ability to run the football. When they're running it, they're pretty tough to stop. In their 4 losses, the Hurricanes average just over 65 yards on the ground. In their 8 wins this season, when the Hurricanes get their running game going, look out. They won 8 games and averaged nearly 200 yards a game rushing. So key to their game is to get the run going against West Virginia's defense. Sophomore running back Mark Walton from Miami went over the 100-yard mark in 6 games, 3 of them in Miami's last 4 outings on his way to a 1,000-yard rushing for the season for first-year coach Mark Richt for the Miami Hurricanes. That's a 5:30 kickoff coming up again later on this afternoon. Also tonight, you've got the 8:30 kickoff, the Foster Farms Bowl in Santa Clara, California. It'll be the Indiana Hoosiers and the Utah Utes doing battle. Kyle Whittingham is finishing his 12th full season as the Utes head coach, 9-1 record in bowl games. Again, suggests he knows how to prepare his team for a postseason game. Here's an interesting twist for the Indiana coach, Tom Allen, who's never been a head coach in any game, let alone a bowl game. A year ago, Tom Allen was the defensive coordinator in South Florida. Came to Indiana this season to improve the Hoosiers' weak defense. Did such a good job that he was named head coach December the 1st. When Coach Kevin Wilson suddenly and surprisingly left, announced his resignation. So here's a guy on the sidelines tonight who's never coached a game ever, let alone a bowl game. He's not just an interim head coach, being given a 6-year contract to lead the Hoosiers 6-6 against Utah 8-4. Allen has to deal with coaching. Not only does he have to deal with the coaching upheaval, and that's very much the case, but he also has to prepare for a Utah team that had designs in a Rose Bowl berth until the last few games of the season. So anyway, it's Utah and it's Indiana at 8:30 tonight from Santa Clara, California. Hoosiers relying heavily on their running back Divine Redding, who rushed for over 1,000 yards this season. Redding will play second fiddle in the Foster's Farms Bowl to Utah running back Joe Williams, who was a first-team All-Pac-12, even though he played only 8 games and actually quit the football team earlier in the season. Okay, Ben, I'll play. How do you let a guy come back? They did. He quit the team. They brought him back. A month later, he quits the team, and a month later he's asked to come back, and he did. Rushed for 1,185 yards, 332 yards in 1 game against UCLA, but they let the guy back on the team. And if a guy quits you, do you let him back or not? Yeah, well, of course, obviously the guy's a phenomenal talent. Had 332 yards in 1 game against UCLA, but he quits you once, he quits you again. But again, Joe Williams back on the team, and he not only didn't quit for a day or two, he was out for a month in the middle of the season. And then come back and say, yeah, I think can I come back and play, coach? I said, yeah, I guess. They let him back. So I don't know. I wouldn't. That's just me. Yeah, on the surface, and I'm sitting in East Tennessee, so I don't know the whole story, and I'll say that right up front, but there's got to be more to it. But just if everything is what I'm seeing and hearing, which it probably is not, and I would not let him back on the team. But again, I don't have all the details, so I can only go with what I'm hearing and reading. So anyway, the guy's back and been a phenomenal talent, and so he'll be there for Utah coming up tonight. Final game will be the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. Texas A&M sputtered to the finish of the regular season for the 3rd consecutive season. Aggies who went 1-3 in November, 8-4 overall, will meet Kansas State, which won 5 of its last 6 games to have the same record, 8-4. So one team in a downspin, one team in an uptick. So we'll see who wins that one. Quarterback Trevor Knight for Texas A&M returned from missing 2 games because of a shoulder injury, playing the regular season finale against LSU. Knight, 2,122 yards, 16 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions out of 314 passing attempts. He also runs the ball very well. Trevor Knight, quarterback for Texas A&M, 594 yards, 10 touchdowns. Running back Trevion Williams leads A&M rushing with 1,000 yards. Keith Ford with 583 for the Aggies. Kansas State, a little suspect, giving up the deep ball, allowing 13 receptions of over 40-plus yards. So Trevor Knight can get clicking in the passing game. Could be a long evening for Kansas State. The Wildcat offense, meanwhile, usually moves at a more methodical pace, using the run game to strategically set up passing routes every now and then. So it's a grinded out offense for Bill Snyder, the veteran coach of Kansas State. They rank first in the Big 12 with a possession time of 32 minutes per game. That means once they get the ball, they're ball hogs. They don't get the ball up much. Quarterback Jesse Ertz posted 3 100-yard rushing games this season. Leads the team with rushing yards at 945. Also on the other side, Texas A&M junior defensive end Myles Garrett, projected by some to be one of the top picks in the draft, will play in the ball, while other stars like Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey have sit out. Here's what Myles Garrett had to say. This is what I want to hear. He says, quote, "I have to make sure I finish off this season strong. I'm not going to bring any extra attention to myself. We will all just focus in one direction. The opportunity to play for Texas A&M one more time is an honor." How about that? I like it. Instead of saying I'm not going to play because I may get hurt my chance of the National Football League, he says, quote, "I'm not going to bring any extra attention to the team and to myself. We'll all just focus in one direction and try and win the football game." Thank you, defensive end Myles Garrett for Texas A&M. For me, anyway, the right attitude for the ball game. So there's your bowl games coming up for today. 4 of them. Again, one starting coming up here in just a few minutes. As we said, Ben will keep us posted with the last hour on the show and how things are going that first game, again at Yankee Stadium between Pittsburgh and the Northwestern Wildcats. Pitt at 8-4 and Northwestern at 6-6. It's the Tom Taylor Sports Show, hour number 1 of the books. Coming back, we'll hear in the next hour from Nick Saban, the head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Also coming up next hour, kick off the hour with the college basketball, or actually basketball update. High school, college, and pro. The hoop season is in high gear. We'll give you the rundown of the Arby's Classic, who's playing in that tournament today. Also the Chick-Fil-A Classic in Elizabeth, and who's playing in that tournament today. Also the Grand tournament over UVA Wise. We'll tell you who's playing that. And also for the Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic in Greenville, Tennessee. For the ladies, we'll tell you who's in that tournament. So lots of holiday basketball tournaments. Also college basketball, top 25, busy night there. And also the NBA has got a busy night. So we'll tell you all about hoops with Sweet Georgia Brown coming up next here live at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings, North Johnson City on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. On AM 790 WETV and Facebook Live. All right, Facebook Live, folks. Hey, one of the sponsors I want to tell you about, get a chance to check them out because they've got their product all over the country and everywhere. It is Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen. Here's one of the tubes. Of course, it's backwards on the camera, but that's okay. But they do a phenomenal job. Yes, let's see if I can get this right there. We can do the camera. Let's do this. Let's reset my clock. It's 60. Ben Boy, let's reset our clock here real quick. Five minutes before the top of the hour? Oh, did it. Got you. Okay. Let's hit this camera and see if it'll reverse out. Probably won't. It will not because I got the cover on. So anyway, Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen. Here it is. It's reversed out. But again, this product is phenomenal. It's made right here in Johnson City. Again, it's sent all over the world. The cap turns blue in UV light. So coming up in the wintertime, the sun out there, as we've told you before, we're going to get Jeff Bedard on the show here very soon, the owner, CEO of Blue Lizard, one of a dear, dear friend too. But he will tell you that the wintertime sun is harder on your skin for 2 reasons. Number one, the sun is closer to us in the winter. Number 2, we don't pay attention to the sun in the winter like we do in the summertime because we're not laying out. So Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen is made here in Johnson City, sent all over the world, made in South Johnson. They just went through $1 million renovation, upgrading, renovation. So they do a phenomenal job. And so check them out, Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen, one of our great sponsors here on the show. Can't thank them enough for being part of our show. I love it. Whoa, Nelly. Good afternoon. We're live again at Chick-Fil-A, crossing North Johnson City. We're ready to go. Got all kinds of basketball to talk about. Lots of hoops to run down for you. And let's see, want to start with college basketball coming up here. Let's see if I can find it. Ben Foy, how you doing, my friend? It's been a busy day up here already. We love it. I'm doing great too. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Talking about the what now? Oh yeah, the quiz show. Yeah, that's Friday. It's gonna be ugly Friday. He said, Big Daddy Dale Hammett, and we'll be doing the quiz show on Friday there at the store at Food City. 5 questions, true, false quiz show. And I said, what kind of question you want? He said, just bring it. We don't care. It's okay. Chinese volleyball. I'm in there. Or I know what, the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame up in Canada. We'll come up with something for the old boy. He'll think twice. Huh? Oh, there is one. If not, I'm going to make one up. So, Freddie, the top 5 all-time Saskatchewan All-Stars, Freddie Fender, Jim Thorpe, Slim Whitman, Shania Twain, and who else is from Canada? Anne Murray. There you go. And he won't know the difference. Big Daddy Dale Hammett, store manager of Food City Graver, there Friday. He won't have a clue. He will be, as my father used to say, you're a lost ball in high weeds. So there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. There you go. He's run that mouth, so we're going to see what he's got. He's going to bring his A game. He said, just bring it. I don't care what. It won't matter. I said, oh, okay. All right, let's run them down here. Got some college basketball. Sweet Georgia Brown. Here's the top 25 as we crank up conference play. Tonight, top-ranked Villanova takes on DePaul. Number 2, UCLA, and number 20, Oregon. 6th-ranked Louisville. The Cardinals will be at number 12, Virginia and Charlottesville tonight. That'll be a good ball game. 6 versus 12 in Charlottesville. 9th-ranked North Carolina takes on Monmouth, New Jersey. That won't be a game. Let's see, 10th-ranked Creighton will battle Seton Hall. They're playing that this afternoon. Tonight, 15th-ranked Purdue opens up Big Ten play against Iowa. 16th-ranked Indiana hosting the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 17th-ranked Xavier, the Musketeers, hosting Providence in Cincinnati. 20th-ranked Florida State will be opening up against Wake Forest. 22nd-ranked Southern Cal will be at Oregon State tonight. 23rd-ranked Cincinnati, the Bearcats, at Temple to battle the Owls. And 24th-ranked Notre Dame takes on St. Peter's. That's top 25 college basketball coming up again for tonight. Men's play, again, the rankings go like this. Top 10, Villanova, UCLA, Kansas, Baylor, Duke, Louisville, Gonzaga, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Creighton are your top 10 men's college basketball for this week. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Again, we're live at Chick-Fil-A. It is cranking up. You can tell it's lunchtime at the OK Corral because it's getting busy in here and we love it. That's what it's all about. Serving that great, great chicken and chicken noodle soup and sweet tea. Let me just go ahead and tell you right over here. You don't get any better than that right there. I got my big hand on all of it. But on the screen and on the radio, Chick-fil-A half and half tea. It'll set you free. Good stuff. All right. Let's run down from yesterday and last night, the NBA winners before we get into high school basketball. NBA winners last night included the Celtics, 10-point win over the Grizzlies. Houston, a 16-point win over the Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder had a 12-point win over the Heat. And the Jazz beat the Los Angeles Lakers. I hate that. The Spurs boys, we really hate when the Lakers lose. Not. The Jazz, the 2-point win over the Lakers last night. Top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. Cavaliers, Toronto, the Celtics, the Hornets, and the Knickerbockers. Top 5 teams right now in the Western Conference of the NBA. Golden State, the San Antonio Spurs, love here in sweet Georgia Brown. Houston Rockets, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. 5 best records right now in the NBA in this order. Golden State, my boys, the San Antonio Spurs, man, they can play. And Greg Popovich is a phenomenal coach, one of the all-time greats, no question. Cavaliers, defending world champions, 3rd best record right now in the NBA at 23-7. Golden State, the best, at 27-5. The Spurs at 25-6. Cleveland 23-7. Toronto 22-8, and the Houston Rockets 24-9. That's the top 5 record-wise in the NBA. Here's your schedule. The NBA tonight: Charlotte and Orlando to battle the Magic in the Amway Center. Indiana and Washington. Milwaukee, Detroit. The Hawks in Atlanta to battle the Knickerbockers. Brooklyn at Chicago. The Clippers at New Orleans. My boys, the San Antonio Spurs, at home against the Phoenix Suns. Minnesota at Denver. Portland hosting Sacramento. And Golden State, Steph Curry and the boys taking on the Toronto Raptors. That's going to be a great game tonight. Up in the, out of the left coast, I should say, in a 10:30 tip-off there for the NBA, the National Basketball Association. All right, we gave you college, we gave you pro. Let's bring it to you. Let's take a look at the Arby's Classic from yesterday. 34th annual at Viking Hall. It was Christ School over Crockett, 80-54. Chattanooga McCauley defeated Tabernacle, 71-53. Buford, Georgia, turned back a stubborn Sullivan East team and John Dyer can coach. 65-58 the final there. The defending champion, Wayne, Ohio. There's only been one team that's ever had back-to-back Arby's championships, and that was Whites Creek. And so Wayne, Ohio, back to defend their crown. They started off with a buzzsaw, beating Tennessee High 83-46 the final yesterday. Trinity, Kentucky over Dobbinsville at 76-57, and Oak Ridge beat Science Hill last night by 8, 64-56. Here's your schedule today, beginning at 2:30. Again at the Arby's Classic at Viking Hall. 2:30, Crockett and Tabernacle out of the Bahamas. At 4 o'clock, Christ School takes on Sandy Creek out of Georgia. At 5:30, Wings Academy out of New York taking on the Gate City Blue Devils. Those guys can play. Scotty Vermillion's got those Gate City Blue Devils playing some very strong basketball. Also at 7 o'clock tonight, Greenville takes on Blanche Ely out of Florida. Hope I'm saying it right, E-L-Y. I used to play Tarzan was Ron Ely, E-L-Y, so I'm assuming Blanche Ely may be, I don't know if it's kin to him or not, maybe his wife, his mama, who knows. That's the name of the school out of Florida. Blanche Ely, hope I'm saying it right, 7 o'clock tonight. And then Washington Park, Wisconsin takes on Chattanooga McCauley at 8:30 this evening. All that again at the Arby's Classic in Bristol. Now, the Chick-Fil-A Classic yesterday in Elizabeth in Game 1, Chucky Doak defeated Cloudland 67-59. Game 2, the Heritage Mountaineers out of Maryville beat Volunteer by a 73-61 score. Elizabeth and the host school beat Sullivan Central by 20, 86-66. And East Hamilton defeated Happy Valley in the Chick-Fil-A Classic last night in Elizabeth. Scheduled there, coming up right now, they started a few minutes ago, Cloudland taking on Volunteer at noon out of the losers bracket. Also, Sullivan Central playing Happy Valley at 1:30. At 3:30 this afternoon, Chucky Doak and the Knox Central Bobcats make their first appearance at the Chick-fil-A Classic in Elizabeth. And by the way, tickets are only $5. They got 6 games today, 6 games tomorrow, and 4 games on Friday. It costs you $5 to get in and watch 6 games. What is that, less than $1 a game? More than, yeah, absolutely less than $1 a game. Heritage and Morristown West at 5 o'clock today. Elizabethton and the Cherokee Chiefs at 6:30. And then East Hamilton and North Buncombe, North Carolina at 8 o'clock tonight. That's going on to the Chick-fil-A Classic in Elizabethton. Also, the Grand Holiday Classic, UVA Wise, the winners there yesterday. George Wythe beat Mount Mission by 29, 99-70. Bell County, Kentucky over Ridgeview, 65-52. Eastside beat Lebanon, 59-45. Wise Central blows out Castlewood by 40. That's right, by 30, 73-43. Those games being played again in the Grand Holiday Classic, UVA Wise in Wise, Virginia. That schedule goes on today. Richlands and George Wythe at 4 o'clock. Honaker takes on Bell County, Kentucky at 5:30. Union battles Eastside at 7 o'clock tonight. And J.I. Burton against Wise Central at 8:30. All that at the Convocation Center in Wise, Virginia, UVA Wise, which is a beautiful, beautiful arena. Man, you're talking about a beautiful place. It is a showplace in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. Very, very nice. At the Convocation Center at UVA Wise in Wise, Virginia. Now, on the ladies' side, we've got girls basketball happening from yesterday. Let's run those down for you. These are non-tournament games, or at least not the one we're getting ready to tell you about. Cherokee beat Grace Christian 52-44. Grace Christian out in Knoxville. Cobb County's ladies over Cosby by 12. Happy Valley's Lady Warriors over Lawrence County 74-39. Lynn Camp beat Cumberland Gap in a low-scoring affair 36-29. And Science Hill's Lady Hilltoppers beat St. Joseph's Academy out of Missouri. Scotty Whaley's team having a great year so far. Science Hill by 4, 59-55 final for the Lady Hilltoppers. Now, Al Henry Gymnasium in Greenville for the Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic. You had North Green and Tennessee High at 10 o'clock. At 11:30, Jeff County and Oak Ridge. You have Morristown West and Spring Valley, West Virginia starting right now at Al Henry Gymnasium in Greenville. At 2:30, the Daniel Boone Lady Trailblazers against Bradley Central. At 4 o'clock, West Green takes on Belfry, Kentucky. At 6 o'clock tonight, Dobbins Women's Lady Indians taking on the Chuckett Oak Black Knights at 5:30. South Green's Lady Rebels against Clover, South Carolina at 7 o'clock. Then the host team, the Greenville Lady Green Devils, will take on Loganville, Georgia at 8:30 tonight. The Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic at Al Henry Gymnasium in Greenville, Tennessee. And that's basketball up and down the ledger, college, pro, and high school for you here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Some other things I want to pass on to you while we got a chance. We've got Nick Saban coming up next year on the show. The NFL, we told you yesterday, Tim Smith gave us the scoop. Buffalo Bills fired the coach Rex Ryan 3 days after a 34-31 overtime loss to the Dolphins. Dropped them to 7-8, officially eliminated the team from playoff contention. The loss extended the NFL's longest active playoff drought to 17 seasons. Wow. Ryan only 15-16 in 2 years in Buffalo. As a head coach, he has 61 wins and 66 losses overall. Anthony Lynn, assistant head coach, an offensive coordinator, takes over the team for the last game. Also, his twin brother Rob Ryan fired as assistant head coach. So, Bills clean house with the Ryan boys. Rex and Rob gone. Ben Foy, do you fire a coach going into the last game of the season? Just go ahead and ride it out. What do you think? Well, I'm right there with you, but apparently, the thought process is to go ahead and get that coach changed out. But for one game, well, I don't understand. No, I don't get that at all. But I don't even understand letting them go 2 or 3 games for the season over the last game. You're out of the playoffs. The Jets are 4-11. You're 7-8. It's almost like a who cares game. It's important to the 2 fan bases, obviously, the 2 cities, but in the big scheme, it means nothing because both teams are out of the playoffs. But anyway, that's what's going on there in the National Football League. So the games coming up on Sunday: New England and Miami, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Carolina and Tampa Bay, the Cowboys will be in Philadelphia, Houston and Nashville to battle the Titans, Buffalo against the Jets in New York, as we said, Bears at Minnesota, Baltimore at Cincinnati, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. The Seahawks will be in San Francisco to battle the lowly 49ers. Saints in Atlanta. Kansas City at San Diego. Arizona will take on the Rams in Los Angeles. The Giants will be in Washington. Huge game there. Green Bay at Detroit. There is so much riding on that game. I'm going to run that down for you in a second. We'll play that one on Sunday night in Detroit. And of course, my boys, the Raiders, with Matt McGloin going to be the quarterback. I started reading the numbers on this guy. I feel a little bit better about him. He's not Derek Carr, but he's not that bad. Went back and read his numbers. Had a great career as a quarterback at Penn State back in the day. So I don't feel, as a Raiders guy, I don't feel as bad as I did when I found out that Derek Carr is out for the season. But anyway, it's still not going to be the main dog. But the Raiders will be taking on the Broncos in Denver. Denver trying to play the spoiler. Raiders at 12-3. The Broncos at 8-7. Biggest game of the year, no question. Biggest game of the week will be on Sunday night, Green Bay at Detroit. Green Bay clinches the NFC North Division title with a win. Plain, simple. They win it, they've got it. They can still clinch. If they lose, they can still get into the playoff berth with a loss for the Redskins to Philadelphia, or a Redskins tie, or a Tampa Bay win. So a little bit confusing, but basically if Green Bay wins, they take business. Detroit, meanwhile, the Lions can clinch the NFC North Division title with a straight-up win over the Packers. Playing that one in Detroit on Sunday night. Huge ball game. A lot of ramifications for the Redskins and Tampa Bay as well. Detroit clinches a first-round bye with a win or a loss by Seattle. Seattle playing in San Francisco. I don't see that happening. Atlanta, if they lose to the Carolina Panthers, that's a possibility. Detroit wins, will be a first-round bye. Detroit clinches a playoff berth with a Detroit tie or a Washington loss. So the Redskins lose, it gives Detroit into the playoffs. Redskins can get in by winning and hoping the Green Bay-Detroit game does not end in a tie. I don't think it will. I don't see that happening. So the Redskins can clinch a playoff spot if they win. And the Green Bay-Detroit game is not ending in a tie. Tampa Bay gets in. I know it's a little bit confusing, but still, it's well worth talking about. Tampa Bay gets in with a win and a Washington tie and a Green Bay loss because of the tiebreaker. So, needless to say, there is a lot riding on that ball game coming up Sunday night, Green Bay-Detroit, for not only those two teams, but for the Redskins and for Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, again, a lot happening there. One more note before we take the break. Come back, we'll hear from Nick Saban. Also, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by our buddy Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. We're live here at Chick-Fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. Marable has elevated assistant coach Derek Hunt to be the new football coach at Marable High School, replacing his former boss George Quarles, who left to join the coaching staff at Furman. Hunt on the Rebel staff for the past 7 seasons, graduated from Marable in 2007, played quarterback in the Quarles. Under Quarles, the Rebels went 250 wins and 16 defeats and 11 state championships. That's phenomenal. George Quarles, 250 wins, only 16 defeats, and 11 state championships. The question will remain now, can the new man, Derek Hunt, pick up where he left off George Quarles and keep it going? We'll see. That's some big shoes to fill. No question about that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll hear from Nick Saban as promised, also Dave Angie, and also get an update. It's early for the Pinstripe Bowl between Pitt and Northwestern at Yankee Stadium, the Bronx, New York. We'll do all that coming up next year as we're live at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings in North Johnson City, here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Oh, is it 2 o'clock? This says 12 o'clock. Let me double check here, see if I'm wrong. You're right, 2 o'clock it is. It's a typo because in the preview and in the, it said noon. Never mind, 2 o'clock. Yep, that's what I'm seeing right here. I got the rest of them right, but this one he said noon on the preview. Well, don't worry about it. No, I'll set it up because I'm going to get you to come back in on the weather forecast and the temperature update, please. Hey, Facebook folks, again, thanks for being with us. Check us out on TomTaylorSports.com. Again, like us and share us, and you have been. Going to be at Champion Chevrolet tomorrow, broadcasting live. Then on Friday, we'll be at Food City and Gray, getting ready for the big Midnight Madness sale. Got some of the specials right here on Midnight Madness, and they got some dandies too. Doritos heading into New Year's weekend. $1.99 a bag, limit 4. Chips Ahoy cookies, $1.99 a bag, limit 4. Also, you've got Van Camp's chili and beans, 99 cents a can, limit 10. Captain Crunch cereal, limit 4. They're $1.88 a box. Good stuff. Good specials coming up. Absolute bath tissue, 16 rolls for $5. Soft or strong, whichever one caters to your honey, I reckon. Supreme clean paper towels, $4.99, limit 4. And also chicken noodle or Campbell's chicken noodle or tomato soup, 4-pack for under $3, limit 4. Those are some of the specials coming up Friday, the Midnight Madness sale at all locations. So there you go. We will be coming back here in a second and pick up the comments of Nick Saban, head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, coming up here in a minute. Good, I'm glad you're talking about 2 million things. I'm going to get you on the picking panel too here in a minute. Playing for banana pudding.
I'll see you later, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe with the player game later. See ya.
That's my man, the Gator, Cherokee Barbershop. He's open for business again. The barber pole's out, the Gator Man's in. Haircuts are free. It'll cost you a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee is $11. You get to keep the cup, but the haircuts are free. Beard trims, they cut guys' hair, little guys' hair, of course. It's a old-timey men's barbershop in South Johnson City, right down from Tipton Haynes Working Farm. You went over 200 brand new customers already for this year. He's had a phenomenal year. It's a one-horse operation. Gator, of course, just a one-chair barbershop, does a great job. And again, you have the... Take your jacket off. I'm refereeing a little one here. It's getting hot. There you go. Lord have mercy. School's out, folks. What can I say? Doing granddad duty. Heading to the playground here at Chick-Fil-A. I said, cut loose, have a big time. What was I saying? Chick-Fil-A? No. Cherokee Barbershop, the Gator Man. Haircuts are free. Cup of coffee costs you $11. You get to keep the cup. And so you don't want to go wrong with that one. He does a phenomenal job. Again, a one-horse operation, a one-chair barbershop. Did over 200 brand new first-time customers. That tells you the kind of job he does. He still trims your beard, does he not, Ben Foy? Wow. He was worried about hitting 190. We're at 207. He's still got 3 or 4 days left in the new year, or the old year before the new year starts, obviously. So, again, Cherokee Barbershop, South Johnson City. He's a cool cat, too. I love hanging out with the Gator Man. He's a funny guy. And so, check him out. And obviously, you have, and we appreciate that very much. Can't take all the credit, but I know folks have come in and said they heard us on the show. You asked us on the show in the shop, and we certainly appreciate that as well. All right, Ben Foy, before we get to Nick Saban picking panel time, here we go. We're playing for banana pudding. This is our big prize this week for the picking panel. Tennessee and Nebraska in the Music City Bowl. Who do you like? Taking Nebraska. I think Nebraska's going to put on. I know we're in the middle of Tennessee country, but I got to shoot it like I see it. Their defense, that run defense of Tennessee is pretty shaky, and the Nebraska running offense is pretty stout. So I think that will be the difference. I think Nebraska's going to win the game. Not by much, but I think it's going to be a tight game. And you're taking Nebraska, doesn't matter what I think, because you're picking for banana pudding. So you took Nebraska, Belk Bowl tomorrow, Virginia Tech, Arkansas. Hokies or Razorbacks? Hokie Nation. I like me some Hokies. Justin Fuente. By the way, I thought this was really cool. Part of the pre-football game funski stuff they do, they took them to Charlotte Motor Speedway and put all the players, took turns going around the Richard Petty Driving School at Charlotte Motor Speedway going 150 miles an hour, 140, 150. Then got them out of the car and got the reaction in the pits at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Oh, Justin Fuente, the coach, said, wow. I mean, they're up against the wall. A couple of those players came out of their big eyes and said, man, we were right up against the wall at 150. He said, man, of course, it was an adrenaline rush. They loved it. And so I thought it was very interesting. One of these big Hawken football players from Virginia Tech said, man, those guys are the greatest athletes in the world. They never get the credit NASCAR drivers do that they should because of what they go through every week. You know, Charlotte 150 miles an hour. Again, 500 lap race out there for 2 or 3 hours doing that. And these guys went out there and took 2 or 3 laps and got done, and they were blown away. Imagine doing it for a living. Yeah. Oh, there was a couple of them was tight fit. They had, in fact, that one car they had a design just for the lineman. There was nothing else in it on the passenger side except that seat that went way back. So, anyway. That was pretty cool. The Hokies got a chance to go around a couple of turns on the high banks of Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it was fun to watch that and see the reaction. So you're taking Virginia Tech, Fiesta Bowl, Clemson, Ohio State. Ben Foy, who you got there? Taking Clemson, Southern boy. All right. The Orange Bowl, Florida State, Michigan. Who do you like there? Going with Michigan to win that one, all right? The Rose Bowl, Penn State and Southern Cal. Who do you like there? Taking the Nittany Lions. Tell you what, James Franklin can coach. He did it at Vanderbilt. He's doing it at Penn State. Given all the controversy and the surroundings of, the death of Joe Paterno, the sexual abuse scandal by the coaching staff, members of the coaching staff at Penn State, all that uproar and all that tragedy and just very, very tough situation at Penn State. Then you have James Franklin come in there and turn that thing around. And they, again, I'm going to go back on my soapbox one more time and say they should be playing Clemson Friday instead of Ohio State. But they're not. But Penn State's done a phenomenal job. You're taking Penn State. Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma and Auburn. Who do you like there? Taking Auburn for some banana pudding. And then the Outback Bowl, the Florida Gators and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Who do you like there? Going for Florida Gators, all right. And then the Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl coming up Friday. You have, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Washington Huskies. Who do you like there? Taking Bama. Perfect lead-in, as promised. Here is Alabama head football coach Nick Saban get his thoughts on the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta on Saturday, here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Here's head coach Nick Saban. All right, Facebook Live, we again are going to be fixing this as far as connecting the audio on the radio station for Facebook. We've been told it's going to happen in January, so we can't fix it for now, but we are going to fix it. To my immediate right is my dear friend Dave Angie, going to join us coming up here in just a few minutes. So we can get him already over there. There he is. He's got that Michigan Wolverine ball cap on. He's ready to go. Here you go, my man Angie. We'll get back to him in just a second, the picking panel. And again, we're listening to Nick Saban right now on the airwaves of AM 790. You can check out the new website, TomTaylorSports.com. Sign up for the email newsletter, like us and share us. We thank you for that. Be sure to read Dave's articles in the Johnson City Press. He and our buddies Doug Fritz and Jeff Birchfield do a phenomenal job covering the sports. And so Angie will be in a minute. Get done with the Nick Saban interview. He's got the picking panel going on with the banana pudding. So it's going to be good. Tomorrow we're going to be at Champion Chevrolet. Then Friday we'll be at Food City and Gray for the Midnight Madness sale. So Monday we'll be taking Monday off and be back in the saddle next Tuesday. So we're looking forward to being right back with the new year. Lots and lots and lots to talk about, obviously. So hang on. Dave Ange's going to be with us in just a second. Are you Kelton? Are you Kelton?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Here it is, the much awaited, anticipated Chick-fil-A tray. We can come back here and you got to use it here.
Yes, sir.
You either get a nugget tray or a strip tray.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You're the hardest man in the world to get a hold of.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Lord have mercy. I thought, your daddy's name's Brian?
Yes, sir, he is.
You go to Central?
Yeah.
What year?
2018.
You're a sophomore?
Junior.
Play sports?
Played football and soccer, and then I made all-conference in football.
All-conference football. Bad dude. You know, what's the Beverly boy's name?
Preston Beverly.
Daddy's name's Jeff? Yeah, I know him. I know his daddy. So, anyway, you got a hold of it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Where do you work?
McDonald's at the Pinnacle.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually work a lot, and then if I'm not at work, I'm either at football or soccer at school. I'm sorry.
Hang on just a second. Let me go. We're back here at Chick-fil-A again. I want to look right over there. Kelton, look right up there and smile real big. There's a handsome fella right there. Kelton Moody. He was one of the winners of the Chick-fil-A trays and back earlier in the year, and we got his tray. We finally tracked him down. This guy's busy. Works. All conference football, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Sullivan Central, what position?
Linebacker.
Linebacker. Bad dude. What was your number?
20.
20. Been working in the weight room, getting ready for spring practice and getting ready. So, Kelton, and you also played soccer at Sullivan Central? Did you? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Linebacker, all conference, bad dude, number 20 on your program, number 1 in his mama's art. Again, Kelton Moody, who came by and got his free tray. He gets a choice of strips or nuggets from here at Chick-fil-A. You can come by and use it anytime. Just call ahead of time and get it. I appreciate you, big guy.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, good fella right there. He's a big old boy. I don't think I want to mess with him, Dave Angie.
No, sir. No, sir.
He may snap me like a twig. So, fine young man. It's taken forever to get him. He apologized. He's working. We say our young people don't do anything. This kid's working 2 jobs, playing football and soccer at Sullivan Central, plus his studies. So He said, "I'm sorry, I'm just not getting here to you." So
That's a smart kid right there. Save your money when you're young, and you're gonna end up in good shape.
there you go. Dave Andrews here with us. Again, just heard from Nick Saban. Let's get it started here. Alabama, Washington. Do they have anything for the Huskies? Have anything for the Crimson Tide and Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl?
The only thing that Washington has that Alabama hasn't seen, in my opinion, this season is a really good passing game. That's their strong suit. Now the question is, is Alabama's defense going to be good enough to force some takeaways early? If Alabama gets ahead, it's going to get ugly. Defensively, I don't know if Washington can contain what Alabama does. I'll say this about Alabama: they have an offense, especially with a freshman quarterback, that I think will play better from the head. So they'll want to try to jump ahead early. But the passing game for Washington, that's going to have to work because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on Alabama. It's going to be tough. That front seven that they've got, it's almost NFL caliber when you look at what they've got up there. So, it's a tall task. I think when you have a passing game like Washington has in this day and age, it gives you a puncher's chance. But they're going to have to get that game into the third and fourth quarter close in order to try to have a chance in that.
Are there any chinks in the Alabama armor? I mean, did these guys? Is there anything you can watch film over and over? Is there anything you can pinpoint going? We may be able to crack that part right there of this Alabama football team or not.
I'll tell you this: they have a freshman quarterback, which in a big game, in a big situation, he's performed well. I'll say that. And they've been in their share of big games this year, rivalry games, and anytime you go through the SEC, you've seen some things, as a quarterback. So, but still, he's young. It's a big stage. If he doesn't get off to a good start, that could be something. There's something, the tendency with Alabama too, where in their play calling, they have so many weapons on offense, and sometimes they get a little bit too cute, and they'll have 2 or 3 drives in a row where they're 3 and out. And normally their defense is so good it doesn't cost them. Then they'll hit their stride a little bit later in the game and click on it and be able to score a lot of points. But a couple small things, but they're very small.
Lane Kiffin leaving. Here we're talking to Dave Andrews, the sports writer of the Johnson City Press. Love to have this guy on the show. Dear friend, aren't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Total agreement.
I think the world of this guy. So Kiffin leaving, going to Florida Atlantic. He's hired his brother to be the defensive coordinator. He just went and got the offensive coordinator, Browse. Art Browse is saying is Jack Browse, the offensive coordinator now, getting his staff put together. Is this a distraction for Alabama's run for the national title? They have Kiffin leaving when he did and trying to put his staff together, or is it going to be a distraction or not?
I don't see how it couldn't be. It's really, I've had some situations in my life where, you've given notice somewhere and you're on the way out the door and you're trying to plan what you're going to do at your next job. That is obviously, a distraction. There's only a certain amount of hours in a day in college football. When you're coaching in college football, you're using almost all of them as it is, So when you're divided a little bit, it's going to affect them. And I'm not sure if there's been a different division of power of some of the responsibilities that Kiffin's had been taken off of him going into this bowl week. But, that's one thing I think will be a concern for Alabama fans in this. And you mentioned the offensive coordinator hire. There's a lot of Tennessee fans right now that are trying to figure out how they have a hotter offensive coordinator in Florida Atlantic than they do in Knoxville. So that's one thing I've seen on Twitter. People a little bit fired up, but he's doing a good job down there building the staff. But I don't know what that's going to mean for Alabama.
We'll roll right into the next pick. Again, we're talking to Dave Andrews, the Johnson City Press sports writer, and again, we'll talk about the Arby's Classic coming up. Let's roll right into it. We heard from Butch Jones earlier in the show, and this is a big football game in a lot of ways for this Tennessee football program. Nebraska's strong point is running that football. Obviously, Tennessee's weakness is defending the rush on the defensive side of the football. What's your take? What do you think coming up again on Friday in Nashville?
Yeah, it's huge for Tennessee. It's a game that I think to take any momentum into next year, they're gonna want to go out there and win that one. And I know for Butch Jones, his New Year's celebration will be a lot better, and his seat will be a lot cooler if they go out and win that football game, especially if they can do it in an emphatic fashion, because it'll give them some momentum going into the offseason. I think with Tennessee, they've got some things they obviously need to look at and address and fix in the offseason. I think offensive coordinator is a huge cause for concern for them. I think defensively, they need to be sure they're on the same page, because with as big of a hire as that was, I just don't think that the philosophy there has meshed. I know they've had a lot of injuries, but it just seems philosophically like there might be a little bit of strife there. They need to all get on the same page on the defensive side of the ball. And the one thing that's going well for them is recruiting. Through all this that's happened this year, he's put together a great class. They just need to close that out well in February. But winning this game will be a big step in that direction as they head into next season.
Don and Dave Onge again, the sports writer of the Johnson City Press. Again, 23 before the hour, with you to the top of the hour. Then turning things over to Charles Stanley here on AM 790. Also, WETV790.com streaming audio, and also on Facebook Live. And also, we're now on TuneIn Radio, WETV. And so you look at this Tennessee football team, and Butch Jones, again, has said how critical this game is. Let's play devil's advocate, and let's say he goes down there Friday and not only gets, number one, he gets beat, number two, he gets hammered by Nebraska, which they've done before in Tennessee in the bowl games. Then what happens?
Yeah, I think he's in a position right now where, with the uncertainty down there in terms of AD and everything else they have going on, I think he gets to keep his job another year. I think what's going to end up happening is he'll have to go through his assistant coaches, his strength program, and everything, and he's going to have to evaluate. And there's going to be people whose heads roll, and they're going to have to bring in new people, and it'll be a very crucial round of hiring at that point, because the people he brings in are going to have to be able to hit the ground running and have them in a better situation next year than they were in this year. And it's going to be tough because they're going to be doing it with a new quarterback, and anytime you switch quarterbacks, college football, high school, pros, it's tough. Teams tend to take a step backwards when that happens, unless you just have somebody phenomenal coming in. So that's something that I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to survive regardless of what happens. I think the expectations next year and how crucial next season is going to depend a little bit on how well they play this weekend.
We're talking to Dave Onge, the sports writer of the Johnson City Press. We're live here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. It's lunchtime, and this place is hopping, and, of course, there's room for you. These guys and ladies, get them in, get them out. It's phenomenal how fast they can run people through, both the lobby here and certainly the drive-through, which is always busy here. That's got two lanes. They're always busy. They even have the ladies out there taking the orders. You can pay outside in the drive-through lane and to make it even faster for you. So when they say fast food, they mean fast food here at Chick-fil-A. Here at the Crossings in North Johnson City, where we are. Again, we're talking to Dave Onge. So you look at, I want to go back to Tennessee, the athletic director piece. They've not resolved that yet. We had Kevin Harmon in earlier today talking about specifically about UT. He says it is very critical because even if Butch wants to make changes, and it looks like he's going to have to save face, somebody's going to have to roll on it because they've underachieved. How do you do that with a lame duck AD who's on his way out? Dave Hart probably can't pull the trigger to make a hire. The new guy's not in there yet. You're in the middle of recruiting season. You got to get your coaches in place for next year. This is a critical time, the next 3 or 4 weeks. Who's going to be the AD, and why have they not put somebody in there by now?
Yeah, it's really, there's a lot of pieces involved in this. If you look even outside athletics at Tennessee and their leadership team that they have there, they're making changes. I believe Chancellor was one of the positions, and a lot of ducks that you have to line up before you start hiring, a new athletic director, and then before you even start considering a new football coach, because the relationship between the athletic director and football coach is so vital. And it's something where they have to do it in the right order, or else they're going to end up being back in this situation here 2 or 3 years, and at that point you're in real bad trouble. So the one thing, I think this game, I think Butch Jones will be around next year, and I believe that. I think more than anything, though, if they lose bad in Nebraska, the negative recruiting that could happen with other schools from the SEC and even outside the SEC could poach a player or two out of this class, which would be hurtful given the situation they're in. So it's key, and there's going to be a lot of crucial decisions. The one thing about Butch Jones, he's surrounded himself with guys he's had with him since Central Michigan, Cincinnati, people that he really, really trusts. And there's 1 or 2 of those people that may have to go. It may be time for him to go, and so that's going to be really tough on him, I'm sure, given how well he knows these other coaches personally, but also trying to figure out who to trust and bring in around him to do the job. In the aftermath of that. So it'll be an interesting offseason for sure either way.
Now, this will be the second year for the defensive coordinator, I guess, is okay. They brought the guy in from Penn State, but the offensive coordinator apparently is the one's on the hot seat. The strength coach is on the hot seat. So does that show there's instability in the program? There's problems because you're having a revolving door of coaches?
Well, it's an interesting thing when you look at the offensive coordinator position because of the fact that Tennessee scored a ton of points this year. Every time scoring wasn't a problem near the end of the season as much as defense was. Yet the offensive coordinator position is the one that is on the hot seat. But I just think there's a feeling about DeBoer. I never liked that hire to begin with. We as a Michigan fan, we had him in Michigan and. We're glad to see him go when the time came. There was a Lloyd Carr when he retired wanted DeBoer to get the head coaching job, and that caused a civil war amongst Michigan supporters because there were a lot of people who said, that'll never work, it'll never happen. He just doesn't strike me as an offensive mind. I think they can do a lot better, and I think that's going to end up happening this offseason.
Dave Angie, time to go to the picking panel and play for banana pudding this week from Food City. You like banana pudding?
I do.
All right.
I do. I like every pudding that I can think of. I can't think of a pudding I don't like.
Have you ever had fig pudding? I know one of the Christmas carols about give me some fig pudding, and I'm thinking, no, probably not.
I haven't had that one.
No, my intestinal tract, I just don't think that's going to jive with fig pudding.
Rice pudding?
There's rice pudding. I've had rice pudding, guys.
Rice pudding's okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Chocolate pudding's the best as far as I'm concerned, and banana pudding. But here we go. Tennessee, Nebraska, Music City Bowl. Who you like?
I'm going to take Nebraska's running game in this one.
Me too.
I'm telling you, Tennessee, if their defense were full strength, that would be a fun matchup to watch.
The Belk Bowl tomorrow, Virginia Tech, Arkansas in Charlotte. Hokies or the Razorbacks?
I like Virginia Tech. I like them in that one because that's a team that had some momentum. They found some things. I think they hired the right head coach, and I think exciting things are ahead up there in Blacksburg.
Alabama, Washington, Chick-Fil-A Peach Bowl.
Got to go with Alabama. I'd love for it to be a good game, but I don't think there's any way Alabama loses that one.
Clemson, Ohio State Fiesta Bowl.
This is going to be a great football game. I can't wait to watch this one. It's a tough choice for me, but I do think that the passing game that Clemson has is better than what Ohio State has shown over the last month of the season. I think Clemson's going to win.
Clemson's going to win that one, so it'll be Clemson, Alabama for the national championship, in your opinion. Orange Bowl, Michigan. Why don't I even ask, right?
Yes.
Man walks in with a Michigan hat on. How stupid can I be? There you go.
The preparation that Michigan's done has been good in this offseason, and not to take anything away from Florida State, but Michigan showed up ready. They beat Florida last year 41-7. I thought their preparation during bowl season was really good. And I think that'll be the difference in this game.
Harbaugh keeps getting rumored to go to the NFL. Now they're talking Buffalo. They've talked Jacksonville. They talked LA Rams. Why do they keep bringing him up as an NFL coach? Is he really thinking about going? Is just the rumor mill? And why would he leave?
It's a rumor mill, and the thing is, he was such a successful NFL coach. The guy goes to 3 NFC Championship games. He's in a Super Bowl. His record is through the roof when you look at win-loss during his time there in San Francisco. So he'll naturally be the guy. Him and John Gruden that people look at anytime there's an opening. From his standpoint, I think he's going to stay put. I hope he stays put. He's making a lot of money. He can go out and get his own players. Doesn't have to ask the general manager for a linebacker or a quarterback. He can just go out and recruit one. And I think for him, he's having a lot of fun.
Good point. Other guy that I always thought would go back into coaching, apparently he's told everybody he's not interested, Bill Cowher, guy from the Steelers. Apparently he's happy in the broadcast booth, but I always thought maybe the right opportunity he'd come out of retirement, but apparently not. But
Cowher, they tell you they get their paychecks. Him and Gruden, they said they get their paychecks every year and haven't lost a game in a long time. So
good point.
You're undefeated and you're getting paid. So
you're thinking, really, Tom? No, I'm okay where I'm at. So Rose Bowl, Penn State, Southern Cal. Who do you like?
Oh man, great football game there. I'm going to say Penn State in this game, but I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it may come down to whoever has the ball last. Two really good offenses in that.
Two more, Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma and Auburn coming up on Monday. Who do you like?
I like Oklahoma in that ball game. They stubbed their toe a couple times early in the season, but man, they've got it together.
Look at a turnaround season for Gus Malzahn, who looked like he was for all intents and purposes, gone at Auburn. And this guy's resurrected, I guess a good way to look at it, the program, and certainly resurrected his opportunity to stay at Auburn for another year.
Yeah, he really showed a lot of grit. And, they really didn't know what their identity was. It didn't seem like when the season started, they were really struggling to figure out who they were. But, they found out what worked for them. They found their strengths and played to them, and, won a lot of football games as a result. So, yeah, great coaching job by him. I think that might be underrated by a lot of people. A lot of people gave up on them after a couple losses early, but he really showed a lot of grit. Same thing with Oklahoma to a certain extent.
There's David Linville in here having a little lunch, and his lovely bride again here at Chick-Fil-A. Last but not least, the Outback Bowl, Florida and Iowa. Gators or Hawkeyes? Who do you like?
I'll tell you this. I would pick Florida just based off of talent, but like we talked about in that game last year, they did not show up for the bowl game. I don't know what that is or what that was. I'm afraid it may happen again this year. I think Iowa is good enough defensively to hold Florida's scoring down, and I think that'll give them a chance. I'm going to pick Iowa in a very close game.
What is the enigma or lack thereof of this Florida offense? They still don't. They're going into the offseason recruiting. The quarterback's unsettled. The running back is unsettled. They went through this season. Obviously had a pretty good run for Jim McElwain, but still, it's not a definitive offensive unit heading into 2017, I don't think.
Yeah, it really got off the tracks early when the Del Rio kid got hurt, and then they started, it was like a revolving door at quarterback through injury and other circumstances, and I think that really hurt them in terms of trying to find a rhythm, and it seems like they have no clear answer at that position. And if you look at teams in college or the pros that struggle, it starts with that quarterback position a lot of times, and they just couldn't really build an offensive identity this year, and that's something that's a surprise with a head coach that you would think his expertise is offense, and they still have not been able to put it together. So I'm curious to see what the offseason brings, who they bring in, and how they end up looking next year.
Quick break. We'll be right back. We got him for a few more minutes. It's 12 before the hour. We take a break, come back. We'll squeeze in the Arby's Classic. He was there last night, covered the ball game for Science Hill and Oak Ridge, and get his take on that tournament. High school basketball in general, maybe some college hoops, and again, by the way, the football bowl that I told you, the Pinstripe Bowl, did not start at 12. There was a typo on the sheet. It actually starts at 2, and it's Pittsburgh and Northwestern at the Yankee Stadium in New York, and it's the Pitt Panthers, and they're outstanding. The running back with a great success story, come back from Hodgkin's lymphoma, James Conner, against the Northwestern Wildcats, and it'll be at 2 o'clock instead of, we said at noon. We told you Ben would be giving us scores, but they haven't started yet, so that was a typo on the sheet. We'll come back, talk a little high school hoops with Dave Onge in the remaining moments right after this, live at Chick-fil-A on the Tom Taylor Sports Show on Facebook Live at AM 790 WETB. All right, Facebook folks, again, juggling radio and Facebook. Again, the new website's TomTaylorSports.com. You can sign up for the new email newsletter. Also, you can like us and share us. Again, and I know Friday's show was, our Thursday show last week from Champion was over 6,000 views. Friday's show had over 3,300. We had a bunch yesterday. I haven't checked the numbers yet. Again, all this thanks to Appalachian Digital. These guys, you gotta let them go to work for you. If you have a business you need some help on, you need to let these guys go to work for you. They do a phenomenal job. Again, Jeremiah Clark and Michael Smith. Just go to the website at, again, AppalachianDigital.com. Also want to get the plugins. We do try and get it in a couple times a week for Locks for Love. Again, growing the hair. We're getting close, we hope, to whacking it off. And again, donating it for folks going through cancer treatment, either chemo or radiation, to help make a wig. So Locks for Love, the American Cancer Society, I want to give them a shout out. We've been growing this for a long time. So again, what I've learned is at my age, your hair don't grow as fast as it used to, I guess. Anyway, but it's for a great cause, and we're all about that. Lost both parents to cancer, so don't do that. My small way of giving back. So anyway, we're going to come right back with Dave Onge in a few more minutes and finish this thing up. And again, be ready to go tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet at 11 o'clock tomorrow from Champion Chevrolet showroom here in Johnson City. So right back here in just a few minutes. Ben, we got 10 till, right? Okay. Yeah, this is it. Mm-hmm. 30 seconds. Is it still 39, Ben? Is it still 39 degrees? 45. Back at Chick-Fil-A, the crossings in North Johnson City, 48 degrees, Ben tells us, and cold weather's coming. Maybe some flurries in here on Friday and Saturday, but it's okay. It's not going to be anywhere like it's been over the last couple of years, what have you. So some snow flurries, dusting here in the Tri-Cities at best, and some maybe some accumulation, not much, in the higher elevations. So again, back up to the 50s by Monday. So whatever we get won't last long. That's okay by me. Dave Angie, before I let you go, my friend, got 8 minutes left of the show. Arby's Classic, you were there last night, and big crowd. And looks like to me it's a very talented fielding this year for this tournament.
Yeah, definitely so. I was there for Science Hill last night. They had Oak Ridge for a second time. Of course, an Oak Ridge team not at full strength. They had a starter out with a knee injury, and of course, T. Higgins is down playing the All-American game down in Orlando, Florida. So, but still, a lot of weapons on that team. And Science Hill played them close. They played them a lot better. They shot the ball better the other night, which has been the key for Science Hill. If they shoot it well, they play well. But when they can't hit shots from the outside, teams kind of pack it in and make it tough on them. So, good performance. Couldn't quite get over the hump in that game. So now they have a rematch with Dobbins Bennett Thursday morning, 10:30, which I know both teams hate that because it doesn't count for conference play. They'd rather wait until a week later when they square off with Big 7 implications. But definitely a lot of fun to get out there and watch. We'll get ready to head out and watch Crockett this afternoon at 2:30. I'll be covering that one today. Just looking forward to seeing that young team take another step. It's been fun to watch them develop, playing a lot of young kids this year.
Christ School plays the 4 o'clock kid from used to be at DB, Matt Halverson, lit him up yet last night. 25 points, I think I read 17 in the first quarter alone. He was bombing them from outside 3 balls, and he should be playing a DB, and he's not. And I want to say this about Charlie Morgan. He's had a lot of defections. He's had a Fulkerson kid, 2 Halverson kids. I'm pretty sure 1, if not 2 Halversons should be playing. They're on the Christ School roster, so he won't take any sympathy, but as a third party, when you lose those kind of firepower players to go to a bigger school to try and get more attention, it definitely hurts your program. DB is a very uncharacteristic 2-9, and it's not all Charlie Morgan's fault. He's lost a lot of big guns.
Yeah, definitely. And with Matt Halverson, when Halverson decided to go, Charlie was pretty gracious about it. The one thing about Christ School is they can reclassify kids, and Matt Halverson got an extra year of high school eligibility over there, which kind of helps you out when you're looking to develop your game and get ready for college. And and Charlie said at the time, he said, I can't blame the kid. If they gave me an extra year of high school to play, I'd have to go do it because you got to do what you got to do at times. But yeah, it's definitely hurt them. It's definitely thin the talent pool a little bit there at Dobbins Bennett, and and it happened. Science Hill's had that in the past, and a few areas schools have gone through that very thing. But they just. One thing I'll say about Charlie Morgan's teams is it seems like once January hits, they tend to get better, and they tend to play better till the end of the year, and they tend to improve. So, it's kind of a tall task this year, but I expect them to be playing better in February than they're playing now. I don't know where that'll get them, but it's almost a guarantee with Morgan.
When I used to call the DB games, Charlie would tell me, don't talk to him about where we are in November. That's when we are in February. That's when it counts, getting ready for tournament time. And so all this is a lead up, and no matter how good or poorly you play right now, it doesn't matter to get to the tournament time. That's what you're playing for. So if he can get the ship right and by then that's really all that matters. We're talking to Dave Angie again from the Johnson City Press. The Chick-Fil-A Classic picked up at noon. Cloudland Volunteer. Sullivan Central at 1:30 taking on Happy Valley. Chucky Doak and Knox Central. The Bobcats come to town, and for that one, only a $5 ticket at John Treadway Gymnasium in Elizabethton. Heritage and Morristown West later on today. Elizabethton takes on Cherokee tonight. And then you got East Hamilton with Rodney English, former East Tennessee State star, coaching that team against North Buncombe, North Carolina. $5 ticket, 6 games today, 6 games tomorrow, 4 games on Championship Friday. And it's a $5 ticket every day to go in and watch a lot of basketball there too. So a lot of opportunities for the basketball junkie here at Christmas.
Definitely so. It's always been a great time of year, and I know people who are basketball fans, and it's fun to go watch them at the Arby's. They're kind of perched in their seat, and they're there pretty much all day. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good basketball, and these teams coming in are really impressive. I think Gate City's playing a team out of Brooklyn, or I believe they're out of Brooklyn. The team Gate City's playing today. I'm going to stick around and watch that. That's going to be a highlight. I think you know, if you have a chance, anybody around the Tri-Cities area, even up in Southwest Virginia, have a chance to go out and watch that Gate City team play, they're phenomenal. That might be the best team locally, regardless of classification. They can play, and I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how they measure up. And that's the fun thing too, is to see how your local teams measure up against teams from out of the area. And it's good for the local squads to get to do that as they get ready to enter the bulk of conference play in January. It's a good measuring stick, and it's great for anybody that likes watching basketball.
4 minutes left. Let's jump to the National Football League. Buffalo, Canes, the Ryan brothers yesterday. Do you agree with Ken and the coach with 1 game left in the season with nothing to play for against the Jets? Do you do it, or do you just ride out the string?
I don't know the whole story there, but man, something went bad wrong, as they say. Something went bad wrong there to chase him with a game left, you know. And he always enjoys the opportunity to play against the Jets since he used to coach there. But you know, I don't know the situation. It just was not. It didn't work out, and you know, that's starting to be the thing with Rob Ryan. You know, early on, you look at the guy and what he did with the Jets and getting them to the playoffs and deep in the playoffs. People said, hey, maybe this guy's got something. But as the years have gone on, I don't know what it is. They're just a little sloppy around the edges, no matter where he lands. And there's something that's missing everywhere he goes in terms of being able to finish the job. And it's I think it was time for Buffalo. But it may have been 1 game early. I'd be curious to know what led to that.
Yeah, me too.
I think they fired him on Twitter, if I read that right.
Yes, they did.
He read the tweet. And the saddest part of all of it is when he left the complex after packing his stuff up, he had a Buffalo Bill truck, yeah, all decked out, you know. So I guess he was headed over to Bill McConnell or somebody to get that thing repainted.
That's pretty good. Yeah, he was. He got let go on Twitter, which is kind of classless. You know, at least have the guts to set me down if 1 game left and can me face to face, not on Twitter. As I'm driving the Buffalo Bill truck around town, so give me a break. Man, oh man. So you got Jacksonville looking for a coach, Rams looking for a coach, and now the Bills looking for a coach. And I dare say maybe some more before it's all said and done. NFL, Cowboys, the class, the NFC, the Patriots class, the AFC, fair statement?
I think it is right now, and it'll be curious to see if either of those teams make it through the playoffs, because it seems like we always come up with a team that's dominant in the NFC and a team dominant in the AFC near the end of the regular season. Then the playoffs start and somebody comes out of nowhere. You know, you look at that Green Bay team that has been treading water most of the season. All of a sudden, it seems like they're figuring things out. You know, same thing with the Atlanta Falcons. And you know, you look at the AFC. There's some dangerous teams. This tends to be the time of year that Pittsburgh starts to put it together too. And all of a sudden, they'll knock somebody off their perch. And we have a Super Bowl nobody expected, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It's always high drama when you get to playoff football in the NFL. I'm looking forward to that.
Got it. Keep an eye on those boys out of Oakland too.
Oh yeah, well, the quarterback. Same thing with the Titans. I felt bad about that. And you hate to lose 2 young quarterbacks on teams that could go to the playoffs, and of course Oakland's in. So I hate to see that for you guys.
There you go. Matt McGloin's not a bad quarterback though. He's coming out of Penn State. He's got some experience, and you know, you got to go with what you got. Derek Carr's gone for the year, but win, lose, or time, or Raider till I die. Dave Ongie, great job, my friend. Thank you. Catch you next week, and we look forward to reading about the Arby's class and whatever else you're covering in the paper, all right?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. I'll see you in the new year, I guess.
There we go. With some banana pudding, maybe, right?
Hopefully. Got my fingers crossed.
There you go. Get you some lunch. Hey, we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Thanks to Ben Foy back at the home front. Also our guests, Kevin Harmon, and also Dave Ongie. We also heard from Butch Jones, Tennessee football coach, and also Nick Saban, the head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City, where we join you tomorrow at Champion Chevrolet, the Bristol Motor Mile here in Johnson City. We were there last week. By the time we got there to start the show, they'd already sold 7 cars that morning. They are flat, having a record year in the month of December, record month, I should say, at Champion Chevrolet, the Bristol Motor Mile, Johnson City. Charles Stanley's coming up next year on WETV. Again, as we always tell you, win or lose, be a good sport. So long from Chick-fil-A, the Crossings, North Johnson City, here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. So long, everybody. Hang on just a second. All right, Facebook folks, thank you again. It says we just had the biggest day yet. We'll see. This is your most liked video day yet. We'll see. I don't know what that means. But anyway, we thank you for watching us, and we'll do it again tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Champion Chevrolet in Johnson City. Like us and share us at TomTaylorSports.com. Thanks a bunch.